Well, good morning, folks. It is Friday the 17th of April. We've been all diligently washing our hands because of the coronavirus. And I was reading this morning in Psalm 26, verse 6 and 7, where someone washes their hands. And this is a messianic psalm. This is David writing, but really it's a prophetic word about the point of view of the Messiah, the Christ of Jesus. And it says this, it says, I wash my hands in innocence and go around your altar, O Lord, proclaiming thanksgiving aloud and telling of your wonderful deeds. You know, he says, I wash my hands in innocence. And all the way throughout Scripture, you see this washing of hands. Pilate did it at the crucifixion. The Jews had to do it ceremonially every day before every food. But Jesus is the only one who ever washes his hands in innocence. See, we have all been washing our hands to be clean, but Jesus is already clean. And he made himself subject to obeying all the law so he might fulfill all the law. So he's washing his hands, but he's washing his hands in innocence. And then it says, I go around your altar. Well, the altar of is the place of sacrifice. And Jesus is our once and for all sacrifice. His sacrifice on the cross is what sets us free. It's what deals with sin. And then we offer our bodies as living sacrifices, holy, pleasing, and acceptable to God. This is your spiritual act of worship, Paul says in Romans 12. And so he goes around the altar. And what does he do around the altar? Proclaiming thanksgiving aloud. Thanksgiving is a big deal in the kingdom. Thanksgiving is the key that opens the doors of heaven. And with thanksgiving, we enter his gates with thanksgiving in our hearts, and we enter his courts with praise. So we want to give thanksgiving, but we want to give it aloud. We speak forth our thanksgiving because we need to encourage ourselves in the Lord. And, a thankful heart is a beautiful thing to the Lord. But also, we're changing atmospheres with our words. And so we speak thanksgiving into the atmosphere. We're all on lockdown. We're all in the house with the same people all the time. And it's better to have a thankful home than a home with strife, right? So we speak thanksgiving all the time. Do it aloud. Speak to your own soul. Speak to the atmosphere. And tell of his wondrous deeds. So it says, I wash my hands in innocence and go around your altar, O Lord, proclaiming thanksgiving aloud and telling of your wondrous deeds, your wonderful deeds. Whenever we tell of what God has done, it positions us to receive what he is doing. That's the thing with testimony. This is why testimony is such a big deal, is whenever we tell the good news of what God has done, it actually positions us to receive from what God is doing right now. Whenever we remember and remind ourselves of all the things that he's done in the past, we are realigning our soul, we're realigning our spirit man with what Christ wants to do right now, with his purposes and his plans. The thing that I love about the scripture is that it's saying you give thanksgiving aloud. The other day we talked about the public reading of scripture, and in my devotional this morning I was reading two psalms because Psalm 26 is a short psalm, but we came to Psalm 27, and Psalm 27 is my favorite psalm. It's one of my most favorite portions of scripture because it is a heart cry of yearning for the Lord. And so I'm going to read it out, and this is going to be a public reading of scripture today. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evildoers assail me to eat up my flesh, my adversaries and foes, it is they who stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Do you know what? It's just good to hear that. Though an army encamp against me, an army of bugs, an army of viruses, my heart shall not fear. Though war rise against me, yet I will be confident. One thing have I asked of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For he will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. He will lift me high upon a rock. And now my head shall be lifted up above my enemies all around me, and I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing and make melody to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud. Be gracious to me and answer me. You have said, seek my face. My heart says to you, your face, Lord, I will seek. Hide not your face from me. Turn not your servant away in anger. O you who have been my help, forsake me not, O God of my salvation. For my father and my mother may have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me in. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path because of my enemies. Give me not up to the will of my adversaries, or false witnesses, for false witnesses have risen against me. They breathe out violence. I believe that I shall look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. Hey, bless you guys. Next time I see you is going to be Sunday morning, and we're going to talk about waiting on the Lord. Bless you.